want to explain real quick why I define as an autistic person and being autistic. There's no official definition currently, but I want to be specific in what I'm saying. I define autistic people as people who have a specific set of neurodevelopmental traits, especially in cognition, communication, and socialization. In a nutshell, autistic people have a brain that is wired to have unique traits. What those traits are, as opposed to non-autistics, does need to be said, but that is a subject that is too long and complex for this video. I'm specifying the definition because when I say, for example, that being autistic is a good thing, I'm talking specifically about the essential aspects of being autistic. Not everything correlated with being autistic is related to actually being autistic itself. Or, more generally, correlation is not causation. I use being autistic to refer to such causations. Some people may be confused. They may ask, why not just say autism? That's the thing. In fact, that's more or less the point. Autism is a term used by psychologists to describe autistic people. Autism is a framework for how one interprets the psychology of autistic people. It, however, doesn't necessarily describe accurately the nature of autistic people. In fact, I think it's become rather outdated. But even if we did use the term, we would have to be okay with it changing. Autism is like math. What it is exactly is known by humanity, but it can change at any time in order to adapt to reality, or at least attempt to adapt to reality. Being autistic is like the natural world which math is supposed to represent. Not all of the properties of autistic psychology are known, but existing in reality, it stays the same regardless of opinion. I don't want anyone saying, so you want children to be nonverbal, when I say that being autistic is a gift, for example. Yes, some autistic people are nonverbal, but only a minority of autistic people total are. Please do not misunderstand me. Autism, so far, is how we understand who is and isn't autistic, but autism itself is not what I'm talking about. I do not care for autism, but rather autistic people. I myself don't have autism, but I am autistic. Those who think that being autistic means being nonverbal misunderstand what being autistic means. To be fair, however, they also misunderstand autism as well. Moreover, I want to describe autistic people without the constraints of autism. The problem with autism is that it's supposed to be a neurodevelopmental condition, but it associates itself with things that only exist depending on nurture and receiving different treatment from society. Double empathy is just one, albeit very deep example. There's more I would like to say about it, but I'll be quick. In a nutshell, it suggests that autistic people can communicate with other autistic people as well as neurotypicals do with themselves. However, autistic people have trouble communicating with neurotypicals, and vice versa. To be diagnosed under autism, you have to have communication deficits. But let's say that autistic people create their own society with a purely autistic culture, language, and economic system. Autistic people, generally speaking, wouldn't have difficulty communicating because almost everyone will communicate the way they do, and in a language that appeals to the autistic style of communication. They would still be autistic, the neurodevelopment hasn't changed, but will they still be diagnosed under autism? This is hypothetical. No known autistic society exists yet. However, this is a pretty good example of how some problems associated with autism aren't actually neurodevelopmental. If it is neurodevelopmental, then it still may not be actually related to being autistic itself. Again, correlation is not causation. Being autistic is separate from nonverbalness and similar disabilities. I hope this clarifies everything for those confused by my future videos.